Alright, you punk motherfuckers, welcome back to another goddamn review. Yes, I'm cussing straight off the bat because we got a lot to fucking talk about on this goddamn review for this goddamn garbage, terrible show that we just watched. Wasn't as bad as Impact, but it was pretty bad. Pretty shitty. Not one single match was good. By Austintheartist, as I am on every single one of these goddamn reviews. Fucking yeah, so we got a lot of shit to talk about. A lot of shit to talk about.
Ooh,
because this show was bad.
Here's something you'll like. They retweeted a nice picture of Anna Jay.
Ooh. Remember what I said I was doing for the thumbnail, Austin?
Now I'll do the thumbnail today.
Oh, now you want to do the thumbnail?
No, I'll do the thumbnail.
What made you change your mind there, bud?
Well, I mean, it seems like you need to take a break from the thumbnails, so...
After Hard to Kill, you said, you're doing the thumbnail, because I'm never doing this again, because it took you an hour and a half to make the thumbnail.
That's because I had to fit everybody in there.
Oh, you can fit the entire Dark Order, the Inner Circle.
Oh god, stop.
Oh, so many. The freaking Miro, Kip Sabian, Penelope Ford, Chuck Taylor, Orange Cassidy. You got a lot of PNGs to download, Austin.
Oh god. Alright.
So, by the way, we are reviewing All Elite Wrestling Dynamite for January 20th, 2021. Just in case you're curious. I don't know what all happened on NXT. I know some stuff. We could talk a little bit NXT after we discuss the fucking diarrhea in the toilet bowl show that this was. So do you want to get us started, Mr. Artist?
Yes.
As I eat my Bellaria spaghetti. One good thing that happened on this evening.
Okay, so we start with a happy birthday to -1.
Mm-hmm.
And then Chaos Project come out to ruin -1's birthday. And Chaos Project, if you never heard of them, because I know nobody's probably heard of them because they're idiots and they are always on Dark, is Luther and Serpentico. And Luther and Serpentico is teamed with the people that should be exclusively on Dark, the Hybrid 2, and Angelico and Jack Evans, to face the Dark Order and a special guest. So the Dark Order of Colt Cabana, Alex Reynolds, and John Silver, and then a special guest, Hangman Page. How about you tell them about this match, Demo? Because I'll get to my part.
So, first of all, why is Colt Cabana in the Dark Order? He looks like such a has-been.
Well, he joined it last year.
Great. Anyway, so, this match was an 8-man fucking tag to start off the show. Because you'll see in every segment on AEW, which this happens every week, and Jim Cornette is right about this, every single segment, somebody interrupts, somebody comes out, something happens. They can't ever just have a clean match without something happening. Oh, but when they do have a clean match without something happening, guess what? It sucks. So this match, like Austin said, everybody was in the match. Dark Order versus the other fucking goddamn team of TH2. Who else was it? TH2 and who?
And Chaos Project of Luther and Serpentico.
Oh, yeah. Was Luther the bald guy?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say Luther. First of all, the way he was looking at -1, the way he was talking to -1, he looked like he had a lot of experience at children's birthday parties. I'll say that.
Oh god. Oh god.
I mean, if you got someone that looks like that talking about some, we're gonna ruin your birthday party. I mean, Then you got his buddy that probably helps chloroform all the children.
Oh
Fucking El
my
Pentaco or
God.
Pentagram, whatever you called him.
Sir Pentago.
Oh, Sir Pentaco. Fucking. So there was so many goddamn flips in this match. Oh my god, dude. Like, I never, like, fully saw what Jim Cornette was saying about all the flips and what everybody was saying. Oh my god. Every other move was some sort of flip and spin and fucking dive. Like,
It was a sloppy, jalopy, botchy mess.
yeah, there was a lot of botches too. They tried to be creative with their flips and flops and fucking 360s and 720s and whatever, and they botched a lot. They tried to innovate moves which were sloppy,
like 420 than freaking 720.
Like Austin's favorite move of the match, the double piggyback spot, where
oh god, no.
Adam Page could barely hold two men, and he went back, and only one man landed on whoever bumblefuck flippy do it was. And of course they did the typical, oh, let's have 5 people stand together and huddle while one guy dives off the top onto everybody. I hate that spot so much. I understand why a lot of people hate it. It makes everybody look stupid. I don't understand why they continue to do that spot. And AEW does it more than anybody else does. And, like, it's just...
Because indie marks love the dives, Demo. We're just haters, remember?
Because there is so much to love about wrestling right now, right? Anyway,
yeah.
God. So... there was so many goddamn flips in this match, and so many botches and flips and dives. I mean, you're gonna hear me repeating because that's what this match was: flips and dives. And one person comes in, spot, rolls out. Another person comes in, spot, and it was like that the whole match. Nobody knew who the fuck the legal man was. So basically, from what I recall, the end was where Luther had fucking, I think it was Colt Cabana, was it? Up on the stage,
yeah,
and he was gonna, I guess, powerbomb him onto -1's birthday cake that I bet you they probably got at fucking Sam's Club, and it probably tastes like shit any goddamn way. But actually, I never had cake from Sam's Club. I had cake from Walmart. It's fucking garbage. So maybe that's
it's probably dollar store cake, to be honest.
Oh god, fucking yeah, their goddamn Dollar Tree cake. Hold on a goddamn second.
Because Tony Khan he could freaking go all out for Daly's Place and buying contracts for Luther of all people, but he can't freaking get a freaking good cake made by an actual chef.
Should have hired fucking Cake Boss. I mean,
he could have hired Gordon Ramsay at this point.
So basically, he was going to powerbomb Colt Cabana through the cake. And I guarantee all the freaking smelly neckbeard indie fucking marks in the crowd would have went wild. And
there was actually people in the crowd, I hope you know.
And Colt Cabana would have sold the cake too. I know goddamn well he would have. But
dude, he would have done a freaking like barrel roll.
So what happened basically was -1, aka Brody Lee Jr., came up and he whacked Luther with a kendo stick. So then Colt Cabana tries to lift this fat ass man up for a back body drop, ends up dropping him in a flapjack face first into the cake. And that's pretty much how that segment ended. I mean, not the segment, but that's how the like match ended. Fucking Dark Order won. And then after the match, freaking John Silver and everybody else got down on his knee like a fucking marriage proposal and asked Adam Page to join the Dark Order. Now, the only good thing about this match and or segment was fucking Anna Jay wearing her tight-ass clothes. That was the only thing enjoyable to look at during this freaking flippy-dippy dimwit goddamn fucking flippy-dippy-doo Scooby-Doo fucking episode. That's all it fucking was.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? He's
got some dives to hit now. God, fucking. So, he asks Adam Page to join the Dark Order, and Adam Page
says no.
He says, I can't. And then they have this whole celebration going off, and they have dancers coming out, and then they have to cancel it. They're like, oh, no, he said no. And then Adam Page is like, oh, I can't join the Dark Order. I've had fun with you guys, but, like, the last time I was in a group thing, which he's talking about the Elite, he said that didn't work out too well for me, so I can't do this right now. So he walked out. And, I also didn't mention, Brody Lee Jr. said that his birthday was 3 days ago, idiots.
And then he hit people with the pet papers. Why?
Yep, so that was how that first segment of the show ended. So if you want to take over for the second segment there, Austin.
Well, then we get Sting, the icon, the old man, the freaking guy that shouldn't have debuted. Yep.
61-year-old Sting.
He's as old as my grandfather. He could be my grandfather, like, legit. So he comes out, then Darby Allin comes out behind him. They try to talk at least, and then here comes Taz, and Team Taz with him.
Pops up on the Taz has got no goddamn reason.
Taz has got his son. He's got Powerhouse Hobbs. He's got freaking Brian Cage, and he's got Ricky Starks. The only person I like that team is freaking Ricky Starks. So
yeah, because you had Taz talking in his New York accent, trying to act all tough, talking about the fucking streets. Like, anybody gives a shit. Fucking Taz, what have you done in your career besides wrestling fucking indie mud show ECW?
Well, he got buried in WE. He did that.
I mean, Taz is a great commentator, but that's about all he's done in his career.
Remember when he joined Aces and Eights?
Oh yeah, I do. How could one forget the detailed history of success Impact has had?
Oh god. Alright, next we have Pretty Peter Avalon, or as Demo said, Evolution.
Fucking pretty pink puff gay fuck. Fucking
versus Cody Rhodes with his Snoop Dogg remix entrance music. So the match starts. As soon as the match starts, Cody hits a freaking crossroads. Should have been over. Then Jade Cargill with her freaking. Apparently, her nickname is the 10th Wonder of the World. How many Wonder of the Worlds are we gonna get? Okay.
10th Wonder in the world. Oh god.
For one, she's not a wonder of the world. I don't know what people see in that, but I mean, Jesus. But she talks about Shaq, and then Cody gets low blowed by Pretty Peter Avalon, who is pretty much trying to be Rick Rude.
So this match sucked. It was garbage. There was a lot of botches. It looked like, obviously, Cody was the veteran wrestler here, the one who actually knew how to wrestle. Pretty Peter Avalon definitely is inexperienced and needs a lot more work. Not the worst wrestler I've ever seen, but definitely needs some improvement. Good thing he was in there with Cody and not fucking somebody else, but I mean, even then, he was botching dives, botching this and that, and the sloppy cutter and everything. And then, like, there would be one point, I don't know why Cody stopped selling his knee. Basically,
he sold it after the match.
Okay, so you're telling me he gets his knee attacked to where fat ass Jim Ross is saying that Cody might have torn something in his knee, and Cody's holding his knee. You're gonna tell me like a good couple minutes later, Cody's running the ropes like his knee ain't even hurt. He's running real fast off the ropes, and then after the match, all of a sudden, oh, my knee hurts. Oh, ouch, that smarts. Yeah, okay. And then he's freaking limping after the match. Like, Jesus Christ. So Cody won, by the way, because the stupidest fucking part of this match. So they're in a figure four,
Yeah.
And Pretty Peter Avalon slaps Cody across the face. So Cody goes to slap him across the face, and
It's legit the worst.
Pretty Peter Avalon covers his face up, gets scared because he doesn't want to get slapped in the face by Cody, and taps out. That was the finish to this match. He got scared to get slapped in the face, so he tapped out to a maneuver that he applied to Cody. Keep in mind.
So
Cody wins by forfeit, pretty much.
I want to say I'm laughing because of Demo's reactions because he's never watched a full really episode of AEW since the first episode.
Yeah, I did when it first started, but then I stopped because it stopped being good. And then now going back and watching it again, I realized why I stopped.
See, I'm used to this garbage.
Because you force yourself to watch it every goddamn week. I don't know why you do this to yourself.
I was switching to NXT, watching it live, but then you said, "Okay, let's watch AEW. Let's watch AEW live this week."
Yeah, because last week we mainly focused, or whenever it was, we mainly focused on NXT, and then did the AEW review after. And we pretty much fast forwarded through AEW. So this week I thought we could do AEW and then fast forward through NXT so we could have a review talking about both. That's why I wanted to do that.
I'm used to this garbage, you're not. So your reaction is priceless right now.
Exactly. Okay, well, I'll have more reactions in a little bit here once we get to a certain 6-man tag team match featuring you'll see.
Next was the Young Bucks and Alex Marvez, I should say, go to Kenny Omega's house where Michael Nakazawa is Kenny Omega's servant, and Don Callis is there trying to write the Young Bucks a check. and then Don Callis tells freaking Nakazawa to take away Marvez and the cameraman, and then like the Bucks. They tried to convince us that the Bucks could actually take Don Callis, which, yeah, tough luck there. But, yeah. And then that segment ends.
God, what was after that? I don't even remember because I was just started falling asleep during the show. It was so freaking boring.
Jon Moxley versus freaking. Let me see what his actual name is, because Nick Camarado.
Oh yeah, the fucking I don't even know what to call him. Nick Camarado. Apparently he has a he had some kind of law degree or something like that. JR was bringing up these random facts about him. Apparently he's a Demon College graduate, and he has some kind of law degree. I don't know what that has to do with the match, JR.
Well, it's like better than what he's doing in the ring. So at least we know he has a second option.
Yeah, I guess.
So Jon Moxley does his garbage match wrestling and wins with a sleeper. Then he cuts a promo saying he is motivated and hungry to whoever steps up to him. So, remember like a couple weeks ago when you saw like highlights of him trying to go back for the championship, and now he just doesn't care. Like, what?
God. Yeah, so Jon Moxley won this match. Did you expect a jobber to beat Jon Moxley? I mean, for God's sake, the favoritism, well, not even favoritism, just you could tell just by Justin Roberts alone who was going to win each match, because the person who wasn't winning, he did not give a shit to put any effort into how he was announcing them. He said Nick Camarado. That's how he announced him. Then fucking Jon Moxley.
He's like, Jon Moxley.
Yeah, he like screamed it. He did the same thing for Cody. It was like, Jesus. So Jon Moxley won this match. Didn't even use the paradigm shift. Won off a weird chokehold where Nick Camarado fell, and then immediately the referee called for the bell. And so that was that. Then after the match, Jon Moxley does a promo about how AEW is so confusing. He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know who's in the Bullet Club, who's in the Elite, who's coming in from Impact Wrestling.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, he was freaking like shimmying and doing push-ups during the
Why
promo.
does he shake his shoulder? It makes him look like he has Tourette's or some kind of like... I don't... Like, why? It doesn't make him look cool. It makes him look like he has some kind of tick to where he has to do that.
Tell me why he was doing push-ups.
He's done it since he was Dean Ambrose. Probably, he might have even done it in his freaking CCW days. I don't know. I definitely remember him doing that when he was Dean Ambrose, but now he does it a lot more.
God.
So yeah, John Moxley cuts this promo talking about how he doesn't care if it's people from Japan, Mexico, wherever. He said all roads of professional wrestling run through him, and that was his garbage promo.
Next, Eddie Kingston's talking about freaking Lance Archer, and then Lance Archer shows up, and then Lance Archer challenges him to a fight next week, and then Jake Roberts calls Eddie Kingston a chicken. He could.
Yeah, so the censoring was weird. They bleeped Eddie Kingston, but then they just let Jake Roberts call him a chicken shit. I don't know why. Like, alright, whatever. So next week is freaking goddamn Eddie Kingston versus Lance Archer.
Next, freaking Kenny Omega, Twinkle Toes, comes in looking nah. Freaking comes in looking like he came from a 70s disco. Freaking talks to Don Callis, and he sees that Don Callis got a black eye, which if they're trying to convince us that the Young Bucks gave him a black eye, I would actually feel more comfortable with believing that like he just fell on like something and got a black eye, because there is no way the Young Bucks freaking did that. So he's trying to get out that the Young Bucks supposedly gave him a black eye, and he doesn't get it out of him.
Yeah.
So next, it's your favorite match.
Oh god, it was a 6-man goddamn fucking tag with... Oh god.
I'll name the people, and then I'll let you go on. Matt Sydal and Top Flight versus Matt Hardy, or Big Money Matt Hardy, and Private Party.
So, where do I even start? So this match was another bunch
The beginning.
This match was another bunch of freaking flippy-doo garbage. Matt Hardy wasn't doing any of the flippy-doos because he can't anymore. Freaking basically, these guys, like, I was sitting here telling Austin, I'm watching this match, and like the dude from Top Flight are wrestling one of the Private Party, whichever one it was, and they're sitting here. They did like 8 flipping flopping maneuvers where they like did like front flips, back flips, did a flipping senton over one of the Private Party members, and then did another backflip. Did not touch this man at all and got a 2 count on him. No skin contact, no impact to this man whatsoever. They completely did not even touch him with any of these flip moves, and then they pinned him. It was so... I'm sitting there, I'm like, you're telling me you hit like 8 consecutive different kind of flips. You don't even land anywhere near this man, and then you have the audacity to go for a cover and get a 2 count off something that didn't even touch somebody. Like, and it was basically garbage like that. And then you had Matt Sydal in there, who used to be formerly Evan Bourne, for those who don't know. And you had Matt Hardy in there, and like Matt Hardy kept stumbling around and like was acting all numbly bumbly, like he didn't know what he was doing.
Numbly bumbly, looked like Humpty Dumpty fell off the freaking.
And like, so they kept doing this thing where like Private Party would tag in each other, and then Matt Hardy would like go to get in the ring and then step back out because I guess he realized, oh, I didn't get tagged in. I don't know what made him think he did. Nobody touched him, so Matt Hardy was like stumbling around, getting in and out of the ring. I don't know what was going on with Matt Hardy.
I feel like he still has a concussion.
I honestly don't know. Then, oh god. So then they were telling JR and whoever the other goddamn commentator is. Is it Tony Schiavone?
Excalibur and Tony Schiavone.
Whoever the hell it was. I know JR's fat ass is the one that said this, because randomly they started talking about Matt Hardy and they're like, oh, we've seen many incarnations of Matt Hardy and all of them have been successful. If that ain't the most bullshit, do you think Matt Hardy is successful right now?
No, I don't. But I think they're forcing JR to say this stuff. Because there's no way he thinks. There is no way that he actually thinks that this is successful.
Like, Matt Hardy right now is supposed to be a heel, and he's supposed to be Big Money Matt, and he's supposed to be playing himself, and the truth is the truth. When Matt Hardy's character that he's playing now truly is himself, a fucking has-been that realizes he'll never in his life, to his grave, will he ever be better or more popular than Jeff, for one. And he will never have the same amount of success. And that, it hurts me to say that. Like when I ranted on his brother, Jeff, on Raw. It hurts me to say that, being the big Hardy fan that I am. But when you look at it now, what Matt Hardy, in his own right, has had success with obviously the original Hardy Boys, then the version 1 character. That was moderately successful, and that was the first time we really got to see Matt come into his own. And then we had the freaking, like, 2005 I Will Not Die Matt Hardy, where he was doing crazy shit. And then we had the Hardys again. And then we had, like, the weird heel Matt Hardy in 2009, which really didn't pan out that well. And then
you had the one with the dreads in TNA.
Yeah, that one, which wasn't very successful. And then
you had the one in Ring of Honor.
Then you had probably, I would say, his most successful one was the Broken Thing, but only during 2016 where it came into full in Impact. That whole run was probably the most. That was probably the most pure gold Matt Hardy has ever hit in his career, and that was the one time in Matt's career where people were paying to see him over Jeff, where people wanted to see him more than Jeff. That was the only time that has ever happened, and it was around for, like, what, a year? And then they did the whole thing with Ring of Honor as well, with the ladder war with the Young Bucks and all that. And then they came back to WWE, and then they didn't even have that gimmick. So right off the bat, that took away from it coming in. Then eventually Matt did get the gimmick, but it was too little too late. And it's kind of Impact's fault for that because of the lawsuit. But, I mean, do you blame Impact? Because they hold on and they try to milk every single thing they can to keep their fucking company afloat. They have to hold on to Matt Hardy's broken gimmick. They have to... And you know what's even funnier? How much shit Matt Hardy's wife talked about Impact. How much shit Matt talked about Impact during that, saying he would never work with Impact again. Guess what happened yesterday? Matt Hardy wrestled on Impact Television. Wow. But anyway...
But Demo, there's so much to love about wrestling right now.
There's just so much. There's so much to love that I can't love all of it. So basically, after he got the Woken gimmick in WWE, it was too little too late, and it wasn't anything like it was before. People saw it. It didn't get as over, and WWE obviously wasn't as invested in it as Impact was. And so it didn't work, so then Matt went back to just being a regular Matt Hardy. They did nothing with him, so he requested his release, and he wanted to go to AEW because he felt that he has a couple more years left to give, and he has a lot of creativity left to give. And I was like, okay, I could see Matt Hardy doing something interesting. We'll see what he can do with the rest of his time that he's going to be a wrestler. So he comes into AEW with the broken gimmick, and I'm thinking, okay, well... Obviously, Matt Hardy is going to be over when he debuts. Obviously, people who are still fans of the broken gimmick are going to pop for that. But he can't.
Keep in mind, he debuted on the first pandemic episode of AEW
with no fans, which took away from it. And he came in as the broken Matt Hardy, and then he dyed his hair red, in one spot where he usually had the blonde, and he was basically trying to relive the glory days of 2016, and it didn't pan out nearly the same. It wasn't anywhere near as popular, not even on the same planet in popularity. One, because he didn't have Jeff with him. Two, because there was no audience. Three, because WWE pretty much ruined that gimmick and ruined any chance of him being successful with it. And four, after that, nobody wanted to see broken Matt Hardy anymore because the gimmick just got old and stale by that point. So that didn't work out for him. So he had the whole rivalry with Sammy Guevara, and he took this dangerous freaking indie mud show spot where he gave himself a concussion. And not only that, Sammy Guevara also blasted that steel chair at his head, which gave him another concussion, I think.
Yep.
And so Matt was like going through this phase where he would be broken Matt Hardy, but then the next week he would be like Matt Hardy, and he would transition, and then now he's just Matt Hardy because he wants to be himself and this and that. It's obviously because the broken thing isn't working. He knows it's not working, and he just doesn't know what to do. So now he's trying to hang on to Big Money Matt and this whole Matt Hardy heel character thing. And for whatever reason, they put him with the Private Party, and now Matt wears like these white gold like skinny pants, and he wears this shirt that says "The truth is the truth." He dyed his hair back to just jet black. You know damn well his hair is gray as hell under that hair dye. And so now he's been kind of managing Private Party, but kind of teaming up with them. But it's like a thing of like he's kind of taking advantage of them, I guess, to stay relevant, which he is, because it's sad to say Matt is trying to stay relevant because the broken thing was all he had. That was all he had. That was the one thing that he had that he could flaunt in front of everyone, say, oh, well, I had this. This was like the best thing in Impact. Oh, this was the hottest thing in the world. And this is the one thing that I did that people cared about me more than my brother. That was the one thing Matt Hardy had. And guess what? It flopped in AEW. So now, I guarantee you, Matt doesn't know what the fuck to do. That's why he's probably doing this freaking The Truth is the Truth character. And now he's in this freaking Private Party garbage where he looks like a numbly bumbly buffoon stumbling in the ring. And like, I just don't get it. I just don't get it.
Speaking of Private Party, they turned heel tonight as well.
Mm-hmm. Which is weird because, from what I recall, Matt was already heel with this Truth is the Truth gimmick, but apparently Private Party was faces while he was heel, but now they finally turned heel, so I don't understand what that's supposed to mean. Are they going to win the tag team titles? Probably not. So, what does this do? What benefits Private Party in this? I would understand.
Apparently they're number one contenders for the Impact Tag Champs.
How? They're not on that show.
I don't know. Don't ask me.
They're not on Impact. They're not signed to that company. So how are they even in contention for that show's title?
That's what I heard after I saw that freaking Matt Hardy and Private Party was on Impact last night, and there's like, so Private Party is number one contender for the Impact Tag titles.
Did they win on Impact or something? Who did they face on Impact?
I don't know. I don't watch Impact.
So you're telling me somebody can come in from a different company that's not even signed to your show, beat somebody on your roster, and get a title shot on your show that they're not even signed to? How does that make any sense?
I don't know.
But there's so much to love about wrestling right now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Now, we're on to your second favorite match, Demo.
Right. Anyway, what I wanted to say about Matt Hardy is just Matt Hardy.
Okay.
Matt Hardy right now, he... I don't want to say he's in a worse position than Jeff, because Jeff is just losing every goddamn motherfucking week, and they're both doing about just as bad. It doesn't matter if they're in WWE, AEW. I'm tired of the people saying, oh, WWE's treating this person badly. Go to AEW. Look at what is happening to the people that went from WWE to AEW. Look at Matt Hardy. fucking Miro, Shawn Spears. Do I need to continue?
If we're being honest, the only person that benefited from being in AEW that came from WWE was Brody Lee.
Yes. And
he was the only
now,
man, and he unfortunately passed.
God. I mean, I guess you could say Chris Jericho benefited from it because if he was still in WWE right now, they probably wouldn't be doing much with him. I don't know what they would be doing, but
he would still be doing freaking Fozzy tours in the pandemic. That's what he would be doing.
Probably fucking Jericho.
Idiot.
But, oh God. So, like, basically, I guess this goes for both Hardys. Like, it just seems to me that they're getting to the point of their career where, like, I understand Jeff is pretty much stuck in WWE because of his contract, because he was out for a year with injury, so he obviously has to make up that time. I don't know why you would think they have Jeff fucking Hardy on their show. You would think they would do something of significance with him, but no. Anyway, Matt Hardy, you would think since you have Matt fucking Hardy on your show, you would at least, if the broken thing didn't get over, you would at least have Matt Hardy maybe going for the TNT title. Maybe, like, trying to help build up the mid-card. I'm not saying Matt has to lose every week to build up the mid-card, but I'm saying, you know, build up the mid-card, have Matt Hardy be that experienced person since his whole career has been fucking mid-card anyway. So why not? I think that would have been alright. Have Matt Hardy. It could have just been Matt Hardy for all I give a freaking rat's ass. Maybe he could have done the heel character. Maybe Matt Hardy versus Darby Allin. Maybe like Matt Hardy versus some other freaking mid-card competitor on that show. They could utilize Matt Hardy a lot better than they utilize him. Yeah. Like, I just think Matt has a lot more use.
They're making like 2-hour freaking AEW dark shows. That's how many mid-carders they have.
Matt has a lot more use, and he has a lot more left that he could contribute that they're not using. Same with Jeff. I think Jeff has about a year's worth of great matches and maybe some sort of title run left in him that he could contribute before he would be done, but WWE is obviously not going to do that. I don't know. I'm going to guess he'll go to AEW once his contract's up just because Matt is there. I don't know. But the same goes with Matt, though, because obviously, you know, if Jeff goes to AEW, they're going to put him with Matt. That's 100% a given. But with Matt, like, they're not utilizing him as much as they should, at least in the role he's in. I feel like they could be doing a lot more with the experience and the wrestling mind that Matt Hardy has, because Matt Hardy does have a really good wrestling mind. If you like actually listen to what his thoughts on wrestling and like when he gets into his creativeness, like Matt has a great mind for wrestling, and you think AEW would utilize that to help their show, but I guess not. Let's just have people interrupt every single match, and let's book all this nonsense, and let's have people freaking just do flips like they're at a fucking goddamn gymnastics competition or something. Anyway, enough about fucking Matt Hardy. He's a fucking bum that's fucking trying to stay relevant, basically. That's how I feel.
Do you want to talk about your second favorite match of the show?
And what was
Layla Hirsch versus Penelope Ford?
This match was... So, first of all, Penelope Ford comes out looking like fucking she could be Lana's tag team partner with what she was wearing. Second of all, she sucks in the ring. I'm sorry to all those Penelope Ford fans. She sucks. Granted, I'd say she's as bad as Lana from what I was seeing. And what was the other bitch's name?
Layla Hirsch.
Layla Hirsch. She's Russian, but she looks like she could play a lead role on fucking Little People on whatever TV show that's on with how goddamn
Little
short
People,
she
Big
is.
World on
She
TLC.
looks like she could be a freaking side chick for fucking Marco Stunt if he really wanted it.
Apparently, from what I'm reading, she was in the Olympics as something to do with her legs. Like, she has strong legs, apparently.
Oh, wow. Did that help this match? No, it didn't. This match was terrible. I couldn't even pay attention because I was just like, I do not care about this match. First of all, they had Miro out there. Y'all know Miro? Rusev, who left WWE because he was frustrated and he wanted a better opportunity for himself and this and that, right? Right? Well, I mean, he got
I
released,
saw
but
Miro's
still.
debut. I don't think you did.
And so he comes out here wearing his fucking pajamas every week, but this week he decided to dress up as Nico Bellic for some reason from GTA 4, and he was wearing this light blue jumpsuit, and he looks like a freaking moron. He looks like fucking a circus, fucking one of the people that helps out at a circus. And they had Miro, they had Kip Sabian with Penelope Ford, and they had Chuck Taylor, who is now their butler, apparently.
Oh, no, it's not Chuck Taylor no more. It's Charles Taylor.
What a difference. Who gives a fucking shit? Anyway.
Tony probably does.
So
Probably like such a changed character.
They fucking had Orange Cassidy in the crowd doing nothing but watching the match, and I don't think anybody was with that Russian chick at all. But
nope.
So the match was
probably would have been great to be with her.
The match was garbage. Penelope Ford won because Kip Sabian. Penelope Ford got Russian bitch in a pin, and Kip Sabian held her foot down so she couldn't kick out. I don't know, because after the pin, JR was like, "Oh, what happened? What's going on? I don't think anybody. I don't know what happened. Do you know what happened? Because I think it was a botch." And don't worry, that happened again at the end of the show too. But
oh yeah,
fucking, so that's how that ended. So then they started doing a promo in the ring. Miro starts cutting this promo towards Orange Cassidy. He tells Charles to say that his new best friend is Miro. He wanted him to say that while looking at Orange Cassidy, because this is what we're doing in wrestling. Instead of great storytelling and building up championships and rivalries and building up superstars, we're sitting here having a guy in his pajamas standing there with Kip Sabian, who looks like Adam Blampier from What Culture, and his wife that looks like a fucking bootleg Lana. They're having them stand in the ring with Chuck Taylor in a suit now called Charles, arguing about who Charles's real best friend is. That's what we're doing in wrestling now, apparently.
But it's there's so much to love.
Fuck out of here with this garbage. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. You see, we come on here, we don't want to be negative. We're not coming on these reviews intently, like, we don't have an intent to be negative. We don't come in saying, all right, well, I mean, at least before we watch the show, we're not going into the show saying, all right, well, this show's going to suck. Let's fucking destroy it tonight. We want it to be good. We watch the show hoping that there's something good on the show that we can talk about. But unfortunately, it's not that way with wrestling right now. And some people don't understand that. And they think that we just come on here and we shit on everything on purpose. And, oh, you shouldn't watch and this and that. And you complain about everything. Well, I'm not going to sit here and fake some bullshit acting like I like something that's fucking garbage. I'm going to tell you it's fucking garbage because it's fucking garbage. And that's just how it is. I'm not going to come on here and sugarcoat shit just to say something was good. I'm not going to do that. If I think it fucking sucks, if I didn't like it, if Austin didn't like it, then we're going to shit on it.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. Sorry if it offends some people, but I can't help that.
Alright, next was Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers.
Oh, God. Yeah,
the Bullet Club take out...
I'm going to let you talk for a minute. I've been talking for several minutes. You can talk for a minute.
Well, like I said, Kenny Omega looks like he came out of a 70s disco. Freaking... The Good Brothers look like they came out of a freaking bar, because they probably drunk. They probably, they're probably with Finn Balor right now.
I mean, they sell their own alcohol. They literally have a podcast where all they do is drink alcohol, so I could imagine.
Got their freaking tank tops on and puffy jackets with the Impact tag titles, like those are actually prestigious.
Oh, they're not.
And they take out freaking Pentagon Jr. for... I'm really confused on why why Pentagon Jr. was a target, why this happened. But then again, this is AEW.
So you say that the Impact tag titles aren't prestigious. Keep in mind, Austin. I will tell you this: the ginormous shit log that I took before I took a shower earlier was more prestigious than Impact Wrestling's entire company right now. There's nothing in that company that's prestigious. But we're not talking about Impact tonight because we already. I don't know how much more we could even possibly shit on that. So.
Well, next they come back for commercial, and coming soon, the AEW Women's World Championship Eliminator Tournament.
Another thing
Who will
that doesn't
be number
make
one
sense.
contender?
And you want to know why? You want to know why they're doing this tournament? Because, hey, NXT is doing a Women's Dusty Cup tournament. So, hey, let's have a women's tournament as well. So Tony Khan can fucking jack off to his employees. That's great. And guess what? Let's have a tournament with no fucking women's division. That'll be fun. They'll probably... Who they gonna bring in? Fucking... Since they're working with Impact, we'll get to see Kimberly on AEW. Maybe...
Oh, no!
Maybe... freaking Rosemary. Tino Dashwood, I'd be fine with that. But... You know, maybe we'll see Deonna I don't know, maybe Deonna Purrazzo. Maybe they'll have her hold both titles at the same time or something.
Maybe she could cash in her Impact title and go for the...
I don't know, everybody's saying that Taya Valkyrie's going to NXT. Maybe Taya Valkyrie's going to debut on AEW for this tournament. I don't fucking know. All I do know is that AEW has probably the worst women's division. Their only good wrestlers in their women's division is Thunder Rosa, Serena Deeb, Hikaru Shida, she's decent. Anna Jay's pretty decent.
Yeah.
But outside of that, who they got? Talking about Britt Baker's a good wrestler. Britt Baker fucking sucks.
Tay Conti sucks.
Yeah. Tay Conti used to be good at NXT. I don't know what happened to her wrestling skill. It's like she fucking... It's like she was an overall like 90 on 2K15, and then now in AEW it seems like she just created her character in 2K16 and she has like a 36 overall. I don't know what happened, but she got a lot worse. But that's the best wrestlers in AEW. Outside that, who do they have? Britt Baker,
Nyla Rose,
Tay Conti, Nyla Rose, Riho. Like, what kind of women's division is that? And I know they're gonna bring in some women out the woodwork or something. Maybe Jade Cargill will be in the tournament since she can't face Brandy now. Who knows? Penelope Ford's probably gonna be in the tournament. Probably that Russian bitch too. What a women's division, packed full of stars with talent.
Well, next was
wonderful.
Petty and Pitiful versus Jerichovid and Maxwell Jacob Freeman, and versus Sammy Hagar, or what I like to call him, Flippin' Fighter.
Yeah, so keep in mind they started this match with like 10 minutes left on the show because every single match they did picture-in-picture for some odd reason because they said it's the new hot thing right now. JR literally said that. And like a solid minute before it would come out, JR would be like, you already know what we got coming up. We're going to have some picture-in-picture because it's a really popular thing right now.
Yeah, because I want to sit freaking at my TV and watch this, like, freaking garbage 4x3 screen.
It is sad when AEW is in picture-in-picture, and I would rather watch the fucking Popeyes Rippin' Chicken commercial that's on TV. That is sad.
The Taco Bell commercial was good, too.
I live in Ohio. I would rather drive 40 fucking minutes to Pennsylvania, where the closest Popeyes is, and get the Rippin' Chicken than I would to watch this show. At least that'll be worth my time. But anyway, continue.
So
this was your
entire
favorite match.
No, it wasn't my favorite match. It was the worst match. I was looking forward to seeing this match because I was looking forward to seeing MJF on this show. Okay. Mm-hmm. I wanted to see MJF. MJF was hardly in the match.
And when
All we got
he
is
was getting his
Sammy
ass kicked.
Guevara, the one half of freaking flippin' fighter, freaking doing his flippy dippy crap, and then we got freaking fighter of flippin' fighter, which is Jake Hager, freaking just being awful in the ring. Remember when he was Jack Swagger? Demo mentioned this to me when we were freaking watching this. Remember when he was the all-American, and now he's just a freaking idiot.
He said, I gotta hurt. I gotta
Oh,
hurt.
I need to play that. I need to play that when this match ends. Let's see. Then we have Petty and Pitiful, which is Santana and Ortiz, because I actually had hope for them when they joined AEW, but then what have they done?
And in the inner circle.
Nothing, pretty much, but the inner circle. So they're not a factor in this match.
It's sad that they were better in Impact of all places as LAX.
I know.
God.
So then next, and then freaking Jerichovid and MJF. MJF didn't do anything in this match. Was the only thing I was looking forward to was him doing something. But Jerichovid stayed in this match for this entire time, pretty much. Jerichovid freaking hit this awful lion salt. Freaking Jerichovid tried to hit Hager with the bat. Hager stopped him. Then freaking MJF tried to use the ring. Hager stopped him. But in the end, freaking MJF gets a roll-up on Sammy Guevara and has the tights, and they are the official tag team of the Inner Circle.
And doesn't that also move them up in the rankings for the tag titles or something?
I guess so.
Oh, we forgot to talk about a segment, Austin. We also forgot to talk about the FTR and Tully Blanchard drinking at, I don't even know where they were, and the Jurassic Express walks up, and Jungle Boy, who looks like he's like a 12-year-old girl, and Marco Stunt, who looks like he's his little sister, and Luchasaurus, who looks like the only legit wrestler on that team. Jungle Boy starts talking to FTR and saying, "Oh, when I wrestled you guys, it made me realize something, that I could beat either one of you." And then they got in their faces and this and that, and then next week is going to be Jungle Boy versus Dax Harwood. And so yay, and JR said that match is going to steal the show. So yeah, I'm not watching it next week, but whoever's watching AEW next week has that to look forward to.
We'll watch it. We'll watch Beach Brawl. So
it's beach
or Beach Bash or Blast or what the freak ever.
Beach fucking fuck it. I don't know.
I'm gonna play Demo's favorite song in the world.
But basically, the way the main event ended is MJF hooked the tights of Sammy Guevara. 1, 2, 3. Jerichovid and MJF win. And as soon as they get the pin, the credits start rolling for AEW because they were going over their time limit. And it cuts off with JR saying, "What the hell just happened? What the hell? Does anybody know what's going on?" And it just cuts them off. So, what a great show. What a great way to end the show. Wonderful. AEW sucks. And I understand. Now, this is the first full episode of AEW that I have watched since sometime early last year or whatever. And now I fully understand why Jim Cornette hates this show so much. It's just a bad show with
now you feel my pain as well.
Bad wrestlers. And oh god. So this is something else to get into, because people are gonna say, "Oh, well, you're complaining about AEW doing flippy shit when that's wrestling now." That isn't wrestling now, for one. AEW does that shit way more than anybody else. It's different. So if Raw, every single one of their matches is boring, and you don't understand why it's even booked. The people who win and lose don't make sense. Nothing matters, and it seems like on Raw they don't give a fuck about anything besides throwing a show together and putting it on. Then you get Impact, which is the most boring show on the face of the planet. I will at least say this AEW show was better than Impact that we watched or Hard to Kill. But Impact doesn't do all that flippy shit, at least. They do indie garbage, but they don't do all that freaking flip and flop and flap and whatever, flutter. And they don't
sloppy
do
jalopy.
They don't dives every single match, and they don't do picture-in-picture every single match, even though they're fucking boring. And then you have NXT, which NXT is decent sometimes, but they've gotten a lot worse from what they used to be. But
And
NXT...
they buried Rhea Ripley.
Yes, sir. And how NXT... They have good people, but it just sometimes it feels like it's like, why are they doing this? Or why are they doing that? How does this make sense? That's dumb. Like, sometimes NXT has indie garbage on it. And then you have AEW, which is like the filet mignon of indie garbage, or as Matt Jackson put it, the Cirque du Soleil of wrestling, which you can obviously tell that's what it is. And AEW's, like, Raw's matches is just boring maneuvers. They have no crowd. I mean, they have the screens, but obviously WWE fakes all their crowd reactions. I'm not that stupid. All the matches are boring. They suck. The only good things are with certain people on the show in certain segments, but it's not worth it to watch an entire 3-hour show for 5 minutes of something that you like. Then Impact, every single match is just boring, and you just can't find yourself in a position to care about it. Then you come to NXT, where at least NXT has some entertaining matches, but also has some boring ones. Then you have AEW, which most of their matches consist of flippy-dippy shit with people who couldn't wrestle an actual wrestling match, who have to do all these dives just to pop people, because according to AEW, that's what wrestling is supposed to be now. And then you have SmackDown, which SmackDown... It's kind of weird. SmackDown is probably the best weekly show right now, and I would say NXT is probably second. But SmackDown has... believe it or not, SmackDown, I believe, is the only show that has good storytelling, if I'm being honest. At least SmackDown has storylines like that they can tell. Yeah,
For me, like, the lineup, it goes Ring of Honor, SmackDown, NXT, AEW, Raw, Impact. That's the worst.
I don't have Ring of Honor on mine because I haven't watched Ring of Honor in years, because it's just not relevant. I don't mean that in a bad way, but like literally nobody talks about Ring of Honor when they talk about.
We should review it once.
I mean, we can, but basically, SmackDown has actual storytelling. Some of their stuff doesn't make sense. Sasha Banks and Carmella, but but NXT has good storytelling. Sometimes it just depends on who is in it, and other times they can have really dumb storytelling, and then other times, like AEW has lost. They have lost the concept of what storytelling is. They don't know how to tell a story to say that. When they had...
They're on the network that only really plays movies, and they still don't know what storytelling is.
When they started with Double or Nothing, they had some of the best wrestling storytelling that I had seen in years. The freaking Cody versus Dustin Rhodes match, oh my god. Freaking every match on that card had good storytelling, and it felt like the kind of storytelling that we haven't seen since, like, Ruthless Aggression. And I remember I was like, oh my god, AEW is going to be so sweet. I just remember that. And, like, I remember they had this fucking amazing storytelling. Now what happened? Every single segment is either a garbage match with people that can't wrestle, or the match that you don't care about, or it's botches, or it's picture-in-picture, or it's fucking flippy, dippy, yippy, hippy do in every match. And it's all a fucking comedy act. It's literally the definition of what Matt Jackson said. It's a circus. They are the Cirque du Soleil of wrestling. And guess what? Next week also we forgot to mention that Cody is going to respond to Shaq as well. So will we see Shaq on AEW again? You know what? At this point, fuck it. How about we book? All right. So that part it just cut off, but that part was the AEW review. Do you want to talk about NXT now?
I mean, sure.
So I have their Twitter page pulled up here. So what they had on this show tonight was the first round of the Dusty Classics with the women's Dusty Classic and the men's Dusty Classic. So I'll read you the official bracket for it if it loads up, because Twitter's loading slow.
You're doing a video again, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the teams in this tournament are Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, Gigi Dolan, who is Priscilla Kelly for those who don't know. Priscilla Kelly signed with NXT. Priscilla Kelly and Cora Jade, who is Elena Black. Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon. Marina Shafir and Zoe Stark, who is aka Lacey Ryan. Mercedes Martinez and Toni Storm. Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter, Aaliyah and Jessie Camilla, and Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. The only, you know what, Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell and Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez are the only actual fucking teams in this thing. So that's great. So yeah, they had the first round tonight, which I believe was Caden Carter and Casey Catanzaro versus Mercedes Martinez and Toni Storm. Then they also had the fight pit between Timothy Thatcher and Ciampa, but let me scroll through this. So they had the first round of the men's Dusty Classic, which was Austin Theory and the North American champion Johnny Gargano, aka The Way, versus the team of Kushida and Leon Ruff. Kushida and Leon Ruff defeated The Way. We didn't watch this show. I'm just going through what happened and seeing what Austin thinks about what happened. From what I saw, they said they pinned Johnny Gargano in some kind of weird pin or something. Let me keep scrolling. They had a weigh-in of Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher for the fight pit. Finn Balor cut a promo saying if you want to challenge the NXT champion, excuse me, he said, remember one thing, they stopped manufacturing the cloth that I'm cut from. But basically, from what I saw, Pete Dunne called out Finn Balor, so I'm guessing they're going to do Pete Dunne and Finn Balor next.
Yeah.
So then, God damn it, they keep reposting it. Then they had, hold on. Which one? I'm trying to see which one was first and which one was next. Because people keep retweeting. I'm trying to see. God damn it.
Okay, I guess okay, so who should I put in this thumbnail?
So they had another Dusty men's match. That sounded weird the way I put that, but Dusty Classic men's match. They had the Lucha House Party, Lince Dorado, and Grand Metalik versus Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel. And the Lucha House Party won, which upset a lot of people. So Imperium lost to the Lucha fucking House Party, who has done nothing of any significance since becoming a team or getting onto the main roster. Great. Good job, NXT.
They're so irrelevant that I can't even find a PNG.
Oh, by the way, you know what? I'll read you the team's men's Dusty Classic. So we got Adam Cole and Roderick Strong, Breezango, Tony Nese and Arya Davari, Adonis and Troy, Kushida and Leon Ruff, Gargano and Austin Theory, Ever Rise, grizzled young veterans, MSK, Swerve and Atlas, Maverick and Dane, Stallion and Gray, Imperium, Lucha House Party, Legado del Fantasma, and the Bollywood Boys.
Ugh. So overall, this Dusty Classic sucks.
Yeah. So, let me keep scrolling. So, they did, like I said, Kushida and Leon Ruff versus The Way. They picked up the win. Kushida and Leon Ruff did. Let me keep scrolling here because they posted a billion highlights from the match. Then they had Karrion Kross with Scarlett, who looks sexy as hell as always in all these tight outfits that she wears. He faced, who was it? Something the Adonis. He faced him and pretty much jobbed him out. So they gave him a jobber match, and then Adonis's partner came out, and Karrion Kross put him in the cross jacket or whatever. So yeah, that happened. Let me keep scrolling here. Then they had the Lucha House Party versus Imperium. Like I said, Lucha House Party won that. God damn, I gotta keep scrolling. Then they had the entire, well, minus the NXT Women's Champion, but they had the entire Dusty Road, Women's Dusty Classic Tournament members on stage, which is kind of bad for COVID if you think about it. Announcing it, and then the NXT said best division period. I would say NXT probably has the best division, the best women's division in wrestling right now, objectively, if you compare it to other shows. So then they did Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter versus Mercedes Martinez and Toni Storm. The way that match ended, I guess, was Mercedes Martinez had attacked Io Shirai for some odd reason. And so Io Shirai came back tonight looking sexy as hell in the tight clothes she was wearing. I know I say that about every woman, but that's what they wear. And if you expect me to not say anything, then fuck you. They're wearing tight clothes for a goddamn reason, and you know it. But basically, Io Shirai attacked Mercedes Martinez, allowing Kaden Carter and Casey Catanzaro to get the win. So for those Toni Storm fans and Mercedes Martinez fans, they're already out of the tournament. So let me keep scrolling. So Finn Balor wanted to get his hands on Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, but he has to find a tag partner. And they announced a tag match for next week, if I can find it. Then they had Bronson Reed versus Tyler Rust, apparently. Whoever Tyler Rust is, and Bronson Reed won. And then, keep scrolling. So, next week they're going to be doing Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch versus Finn Balor and his tag team partner Kyle O'Reilly. Even though they just fought and damn near killed each other and injured each other.
I'm gonna need that PNG of Finn Balor that you used for the NXT review last time.
All right, and by the way, for those who forgot, freaking Santos Escobar is the NXT Cruiserweight Champion.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Which, I mean, I don't understand why NXT has the Cruiserweight title. Why they wouldn't just put everybody into the North American Championship division. Like, get rid of fucking 205 Live. But anyway, so they had that. And then, so next week, Santos Escobar is going to be defending his title against Kurt Stallion, whoever the hell that is. Next week, they're having the quarterfinals of the Dusty Tag Tournament, which is MSK versus Drake Maverick and Killian Dane, and the Grizzled Young Veterans versus Kushida and Leon Ruff. Then they did the fight pit between Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher, which was the main event of NXT. And let me see who won, because we did not watch this show. If I could fucking see. Timothy Thatcher won, so he's won 2 fight pit matches now.
Well, that's cool. I mean, that's like his style of match, I guess.
So that was NXT this week. So there's your review for AEW and NXT for this week, I guess.
God.
It seems like NXT was probably the better show to watch tonight.
Yeah.
Even though we didn't watch... Funny how we didn't watch it. I mean, funny how we watched... Well, actually, I think probably New Year's Evil was better than New Year's Smash, if I'm being honest, but...
Yeah.
But, I mean, we decided to watch the shitty show this week instead of NXT. But it's whatever.
Of course we did.
It's whatever. So, anything else you want to say, Austin, while you're slaving over the thumbnail?
Can't freaking stand AEW. God dang it, dude. MJF, go somewhere else. You deserve better.
I would say MJF is probably the best heel in the business right now. Like, when I look at MJF, I completely, I see within him, well, not within him, but he reminds me so much of, like, 2005 Legend Killer Randy Orton. He reminds me so much of that.
He tried out for Tough Enough, and they still didn't, WWE still didn't take him.
Well, that's their loss. One day they'll come crawling back begging him to sign with them just so they can sign him. Because that's what they do with everybody. They sign up everybody because they don't want anyone else to have them. And they just want to add another name to people who are in WWE, but they don't do shit with the people that they sign. Because they sign way too many people. But anyway, that's a rant for another day. In the end, fuck AEW. It was trash. And for anybody that said it was good, go fuck yourself because you're wrong. It was not good. It was not good wrestling, and it was not the professional wrestling that I fell in love with. I don't know how you feel about that, Austin.
No, it's not. The only thing that's good about this show is MJF being on it.
The only good things about this show was MJF and Anna Jay in the tight clothes. Outside of that, there was nothing good on this show. Nothing. So, that's our review of AEW and NXT for January 20th, 2021. We are going to do... it's called AEW Beach Break, actually. I just found that out.
Beach Break? What the freak ever? It sucks.
We will be reviewing that because just decided to. It's probably not going to be good, but I want to give it a fair chance. And this is one of the things I wanted to get into a little bit before we end, is that, like I said, we don't want to come into this wanting to be negative and wanting to rant our heads off and all this. We don't want that to be the case. We want to watch these shows and we want to be entertained and we want to see great wrestling and storytelling. We want to see the reason we fell in love with this fucking sport in the first place.
Exactly.
But it's just not like that with the way wrestling is nowadays. And for all the indie marks and people who love this style of wrestling, they think that all this stuff is like classic matches. They think that this is entertaining wrestling, and it's just not. And obviously the COVID thing does affect it. But, like, you might be asking, why? Oh, well, you guys hate AEW. Why are you going to review Beach Break? Why do you keep doing all these reviews if all you do is shit all over these shows and you're negative about everything? Why do you even watch? Why do you keep reviewing shows? Me personally, I don't know if Austin feels this way, but me personally, like, yeah, it's like a little joke, like, when we talk about it. It's like, oh, let's watch this AEW show. Oh, it's probably going to be flippy-dippy-doo crap, because that's what AEW is. But, or, like, Impact. Like, we're like, oh, God, Impact, just knowing how Impact is now. But, like, me, when I went into it, I want to, like, when we first started doing these reviews is because of Raw Legends Night, because I knew how bad that was going to be. I knew that was going to be bad. I went into that was going to be bad, and I went into that wanting to shit on it. But for the rest of it, I thought, hey, this review was kind of fun. So let's review some other stuff and see if we enjoy it or if we hate it. And the behind it for me, legitimately, I wanted to sit down and watch these different shows from these different companies, and I wanted to see if I could, I guess, in a way, fall back in love with wrestling again. Not to say I've fallen out of love with it, but like I don't love it any way I used to. And watching these shows, I wanted to give each of these shows a fair chance to say to put on a great wrestling show and make me a fan and make me want to start watching wrestling again. That's the main reason why I wanted to review these shows. It's like, yeah, you know there's going to be bad stuff on it, but I want these shows to be the best they possibly can be, but they're just not. I want to fall back in love with wrestling again, but it's just so hard to with the way all these TV programs are and the way wrestling in general is now. And I want to watch every week. I want to support these wrestling companies, and I want to support the sport that I fell in love with above all else in my life. And it's just impossible to do that with how bad wrestling is right now. And people try to
Exactly.
defend it, saying there's so much to love about wrestling, and wrestling is the best it's ever been, and there's so many options of wrestling to watch, and that they try to defend it and say these things, and it's just not true. Every one of these shows, even the shows that we have said are decent, like SmackDown and NXT, all these shows are bad shows. There's
Exactly.
there's good things on them, and it sucks that we have to say that the best ones are only decent. It sucks that we can't say, oh yeah, this is the best fucking show to watch. It sucks that we have to say, out of all the shows, this one's the most watchable or this one's decent. I hate having to say that, but it's realistically how it is, and I wish it wasn't like that. But people think we just come on here all willy nilly to just shit all over everything. But that's not the case for me. I don't know how you feel about all that.
No, I don't. I don't come and do that. I would rather watch a good show and have fun with it than
Hmm.
watch this garbage crap that I've been watching. Like I've been live tweeting, which I didn't live tweet tonight or anything because we were watching it together and we were gonna do this review. So like I've been tweeting since August because I cannot watch wrestling without getting my feelings out. Because if
Hmm.
I don't, I will blow up. That's that is legit my thing. Like I can't do it without.
Yeah. Austin is somebody who gets like really invested into wrestling. I used to be the same way before like it just for me slowly and slowly over the years I just started watching wrestling less and less and less and less, and now it's to a point where I don't like, besides these reviews, before these started, the last time I sat down and watched any wrestling show was when AEW first started. But before that, it had been years before I sat down and watched a full episode of Monday Night Raw or SmackDown or NXT. And I know NXT was great during that time, and I should have been watching it more, and I regret not watching it during that time. But Raw and SmackDown in general just left such a bad taste in my mouth that I just didn't want to watch wrestling anymore. The only
Yeah,
thing I would do is check out stuff from NXT. I would watch the highlights of Raw and SmackDown on YouTube if there's anything interesting, and I would check out pay-per-view here and there. And obviously watch the Rumble and Mania and all that. But in terms of me watching Raw and SmackDown and NXT every single week, it just wasn't that way anymore. And I hate that it's like that, but that's just how it is.
exactly.
That's the thing people don't understand. We don't hate wrestling. We don't want to hate these shows.
If anything, we want it to be better.
Exactly.
Like I can't tell you how many times I went to school and like been embarrassed to tell somebody that I like wrestling
Yeah, and
because of that.
I've had that too, and it's all because like when people think of wrestling, they think of, well, when you talk about any sport, really, they think of what's going on now, and they will watch whatever is on now, and they'll be like, "Oh, you like that shit? That shit sucks." That's what people were doing when I would tell them I'm a wrestling fan. They would see what the most current wrestling thing is, and of course, it would be Raw of all things, and obviously Raw sucks. But like that's what people would base their arguments off for me, and I hated that shit because they base it off the most current thing, and it just sucks that wrestling is the way that it is now, and people say that there's so much to love in wrestling, and wrestling is the best it's ever been, and all this garbage, which isn't true. And people try to sugarcoat it, they try to defend it because some people love wrestling so much that they just can't they can't just, it's hard for them to accept that wrestling is the worst it's ever been right now, and they don't want to believe that it's so bad, so they try their damnedest to defend it and say it's good even though it's not good.
I wish that wasn't the case for some people, because like
Yeah.
if you want to watch a good wrestling product, we're gonna review it sometime probably after all like the Rumble stuff and like stuff like that. But
Mhm.
like, if you want to see something good, watch Ring of Honor. Like, it might have people like Jay Lethal or like Mike Kanellis or people like that, but it's still good. It's better than anything WWE or AEW or Impact is putting out.
And it
And that
just
I promise you.
sucks. Yeah. And I mean it sucks that the biggest wrestling companies in the world put on the worst possible shows.
Yeah.
You would think companies like WWE that has all this types of money, you would think they would be able to put on the best wrestling shows you've ever seen with the amount of talent, the amount of sheer talent that they have. I mean, goddamn, WWE has the most, they overall in their entire roster. If you morph not Ring of Honor, if you morph Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and NXT UK all in one, they have the single most talented roster of any wrestling company ever. But
Yeah.
they just they have all that talent and could do so much with it and has so much potential to give us matches and storylines and everything that we could that we'll never forget. But instead, they don't use half their talent. They sign way too many people just to sign them. They have no creative direction for a lot of people. They misuse and mistreat most of their roster, and their weekly shows act like they don't even give a damn about putting on the show, and it's just something that they have to get through. And it sucks that it's that way
Yeah.
because they have so much talent that they're wasting. And they're not the only ones. AEW is in the same boat. Don't people try to sit there and say, oh, AEW pushes talent and oh, AEW utilizes people. Because AEW is guilty of it as well. Like I said, with people like Miro and Shawn Spears and Matt Hardy, people like that who left WWE for the exact reasons that I'm talking about, went to AEW and they're getting treated almost the exact same way. And I don't know what happened to AEW. They were supposed to be all about wrestling. That was their thing. They were all about wrestling. They wanted to show people what it was like to have a company that actually cared about the wrestling aspect of to actually care about the sport. That was their whole thing. And they wanted to give people a better alternative because they knew how much people hated WWE. But the more and more people AEW signs and brings in, the more they do the weekly shows the way they're doing them, they're pretty much becoming a WWE light or WWE 2.0 in a sense because
Yeah.
they're starting to do the same things that WWE is doing, and It just sucks to see because AEW had so much potential. It was like, for the first time, when AEW first came around, I felt like finally we have something different. We have something that I want to watch. We have something that will make me watch wrestling every week again. And it was like that for a little bit. But then it all went downhill.
Yep. Sucks that it did though. Like,
Yeah. I've been a professional wrestling fan since 2009 is when I started watching.
I've been one since probably '06, and that's when I was like 3. So
Yeah, and
think about that.
I was I think 10 or 11 in 2009, I think. Um and like I've been a wrestling fan ever since then, and it just sucks like how I felt about wrestling then. Wrestling was like I was a die-hard wrestling fan. I would watch every single show, every single pay-per-view when I was able to, because that was before they had the network. And like I would watch Raw and SmackDown every week. When NXT first came around, I watched every single episode of NXT. When WWE ECW was still around, I would watch that. I would watch hours and hours and hours and hours of wrestling DVDs. I would buy all kinds of wrestling figures, every wrestling thing I could get my hands on. I did. And
Yeah.
I would also watch TNA every single week as well. And then it got to a point where Ring of Honor was on TV, and I was watching Ring of Honor every single week. I was a die-hard wrestling fan, but it's not like that anymore for me. Now, for me, it's to the point where if I wasn't talking to Austin and doing these reviews, I would not be watching any of these shows, legitimately. I would still check out the highlights and stuff because I'm a wrestling fan, but I wouldn't
Yeah.
actually be sitting down and watching these shows. Because there's no way I would sit and watch this by myself. Absolutely not.
Yeah. I'm the only one that tortures myself like that.
And I don't know why you do.
Sometimes I don't know either, but
I'm sending you these things for the thumbnail.
okay. I got the pictures of me and you. I just need the picture of Finn.
I want you to put this next to me.
Oh God.
Or in the same vicinity as me. I'm trying to find the Finn Balor one.
I'm trying to equal this out with NXT and AEW people. So
Do you have are you gonna put the NXT and AEW logos on it?
yeah, I already have.
Alright.
So far, right now, I've got more people, but so far right now I have Private Party, Matt Hardy, Miro, Kip Sabian, Layla Hirsch, Caden Carter, and Casey Catanzaro, Jericho Vid, MJF, Scarlett, and Karrion Cross. That's all I have so far for
Alright, there's the Finn
on
Balor.
on the thing. Okay.
Here, I sent you the Finn Balor one. I want you to put that other one by me. Even though she wasn't on the show. Fuck it.
Is it Thunder Rosa, I'm guessing?
Yep.
I should have known.
I'll get one for you to put by you.
Nah, I'm not putting Anna J on there.
She was on the show.
I know.
Why aren't you putting her on there then, Austin?
Okay, I'll put her on there, but I won't put her by me.
Why not? You like Anna J, don't you?
I like Anna J, but I'm not. I already get called a perv by my sister, so she's like, "You have all these girlfriends," and I'm like, "I wish." So,
I'll send you an Anna J PNG.
God dang it.
Ooh, it's a nice shot too.
Oh no, that doesn't sound good. A nice shot, huh?
Mm-hmm. Fuck, hold on.
You still filming?
Yeah, I'm still recording.
Okay.
And in a second though. We're just getting the thumbnail ready for this review, but bottom line is it's just like hard to be a wrestling fan still. Like, obviously, I still like to play the wrestling video game. That's like my bread and butter. But I still like getting wrestling sometimes. And I'm gonna always be a wrestling fan. I'm never gonna not be a wrestling fan. But it just sucks that wrestling is so unbelievable right now. And I wish it would get better. I'm praying that it does, but I'm not gonna count on it. And I just want people to understand, not just a bunch of haters coming on here to shit all over wrestling. We're two wrestling fans where wrestling has been a huge part of our lives and who we are, that wrestling has changed. We just want to see it get better, and wrestling has changed, and it's the way it is now just upsets the both of us. And we're just saying how we truly feel about it. But yeah. So that was your review for AEW and NXT January 20th, 2021. I've been Demo the Warrior with Austintheartist, and I'm not sure what the next thing we're reviewing is. I think it's probably the Royal Rumble, right? And then the Royal Rumble, and then AEW Beach Break.
Yeah. By the way, I guess we should announce that something at the Royal Rumble that we're doing that's new, that we're having a guest on.
Yeah, hopefully it works out. The homie Brandon Champion wants to hop on the review with us. Hopefully it all works out to where he's able to get on there. So I don't want to say 100% for sure, because I don't know how stuff will work out with that. But
yeah, we'll see how it works out. But
yeah,
hopefully it works out.
But yeah. With that being said, thank you guys for watching this review, and we'll see you all next time.